some of these hearing aids are so bad that these brands should have to pay you to actually wear them. Hey guys, Cliff Olson, Doctor of Audiology and founder of Applied Hearing Solutions in Phoenix, Arizona, and in this video, I'm talking about all of the worst hearing aids in 2025. Every year, I like to look at all of the best hearing aids that are currently available on the market and share my top picks with you. Every once in a while, I get blamed for only focusing on the positive of hearing aids, even though in my detailed review videos, I talk about the pros and cons of each one of these hearing devices. So that being said, this year, in addition to my best hearing aids of 2025 video series, I decided to share my top picks for the worst hearing aids of 2025. Now, if you want to check out my best hearing aids of 2025 videos, I will link those down in the description for you. Okay, so enough about any of the best hearing aids of this year. Let's really start talking about the worst hearing aids of this year. And of course, this is probably going to ruffle the feathers of some of these hearing aid brands that will probably start sending me some cease and desist letters. So let me go ahead and give a quick disclaimer and explain that my picks for the worst hearing aids of 2025 are purely based on my opinion, and you may actually get some benefit from one or more of these devices, even though I don't think it's very likely. That being said, the first hearing aid on this year's list of worst hearing aids in 2025 is the Jabra Enhanced Select 500. Even though the Jabra Enhanced Select uses some of the same hearing aid technology that you will find inside of Resound hearing aids, the one thing that I really don't like about these hearing aids is their delivery model. Essentially, you order these hearing aids directly from the Jabra website, and you can do it in one of three different ways. You can do it without giving them any audiometric information about yourself. You can do it by taking their online hearing test, or you can do it by submitting your professional audiogram so they can pre-program your devices for you. You can purchase the basic package, which will cost you $17.95 for a pair of preset hearing aids with 3 different listening modes and a 1-year warranty. Of course, this is just a bad option to make their $19.95 premium option look halfway decent. With the premium option, you get a pair of custom programmed Jabra Enhanced Select 500s with 3 years of professional virtual care and 3-year warranty including loss and damage. Let's go ahead and take a quick second to explain just how bad pre-programmed hearing aids are. In a recent study in the Journal of Ear and Hearing titled Evaluation of Communication Outcomes with Over-the-Counter Hearing Aids, researchers did not find a significant improvement in conversation efficiency with over-the-counter hearing aid use compared with the unaided condition. Meaning that if you ever order a pair of pre-programmed over-the-counter hearing aids, there's a high likelihood that you will do no better with them than you would without any hearing aids at all. So then the question becomes, how much benefit would you get from one of these Jabra Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids if they actually had your audiogram information and uploaded it into the programming software of these devices? Well, the answer to that question is, it depends. Here are the real ear measurement results of a patient of mine who purchased the Jabra Enhanced Select 500s and had them programmed using her professional audiogram and had them professionally fit via virtual session with a Jabra audiologist. Her prescription for her hearing loss is indicated by the hash mark lines, and the amplification from the Jabra Enhanced hearing aids is indicated by the solid lines. Anywhere the solid lines are above the hash mark lines, she's being over-amplified, and anywhere she is below the hash mark lines, she's being under-amplified. As you can see, for average, loud, and soft level speech inputs, she is nowhere even close to matching her prescription with the Jabra hearing aids customized for her hearing loss. No wonder she hated the Jabra Enhanced Select 500s. The worst part is you cannot even take this real ear measurement data and share it with Jabra enough for them to fix the issue. So if you do decide to order a pair of Jabra Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids because you're trying to save some money or because you believe that they can customize the audio of these hearing aids to your hearing loss prescription virtually, then I highly recommend that you go to my website hearingup.com and find a Hearing Up Network member in your area that can evaluate the performance of those hearing aids for you. Hearing Up members have been vetted and are committed to following comprehensive audiologic best practices, including real ear measurement to evaluate the performance of your hearing aids. This way, they can help you find out how much better you would be able to hear with a different pair of hearing aids other than the ones that made this year's list of worst hearing aids in 2025. That being said, the second hearing aid to make this year's list of worst hearing aids you can get in 2025 is the Eargo 7, not to be confused with the Eargo 7 RX. Now, I'll admit, the Eargo 7 is actually a hearing aid that I really want to like, I just can't. I mean, it's extremely small, it is completely invisible, it has app controls, and it only costs you around $2,000 if you can snag a really sweet discount code. The biggest problem I have with the Eargo 7 is that I constantly get patients coming into my office who've been sold a pair of Eargo 7s and have not received any benefit from using them. I mean, this is a huge problem considering that you're going to spend anywhere between $2,000 and $3,000 for these devices. While that's not a whole lot of money for hearing aids in general, that is a lot of money for a hearing aid that doesn't actually work for you. The biggest problem I have with these hearing aids is that half of the people who purchase them and are dissatisfied do not even have a hearing loss that can be successfully treated with these devices, yet Eargo sells them to them anyway. In fact, really the only good thing I can think of when it comes to the Eargo 7s is that I get a ton of new patients coming into my office because they tried these out and they didn't work for them. Honestly, these are some patients that probably would have never come in to see me in my clinic had they not tried Eargo first. That being said, if you've ever tried a hearing aid and you did not receive a whole lot of benefit from it, you may have actually received more benefit doing auditory training instead of getting hearing aids. Lace AI Pro is an auditory training app that's like physical therapy for your ears. It basically trains your brain how to process sound better, and it even helps you hear better in background noise. It's backed by over 20 years of research and provides up to a 6 decibel improvement in signal-to-noise ratio, which is approximately a 60% improvement in speech understanding and background noise. If you want to hear your absolute best, doing auditory training with the Lace AI Pro app can significantly improve your hearing in as little as 1 month, with those benefits lasting a long time. And if you would like to start using Lace AI for yourself to gain an unfair advantage with your hearing aids, I will have a link in the description with a discount code for Dr. Cliff channel subscribers. The third hearing aid to make this year's list of worst hearing aids of 2025 will probably upset a lot of people, but I have to put the Apple AirPods Pro 2 on this list. Now, don't get me wrong. If I had to recommend an over-the-counter hearing aid for someone, the Apple AirPods Pro 2 would probably be at the top of the list. The reason why is because they are so cheap that even if they don't work for you, you're really not out that much money. Compared to other over-the-counter hearing aids currently available on the market, the AirPods Pro 2 retail for only $249, which is less than half of what it would take to get you another set of decent over-the-counter hearing aids, and even if they don't work for you, at least you have a pair of really sweet Bluetooth earbuds. I'm actually a huge fan of the Apple AirPods Pro 2 as I've had multiple sets of these devices over the past several years. I love how they fit, I love how comfortable they are, and I love the sound quality of their Bluetooth streaming. But as hearing aids, I'm just not that impressed. While Apple did improve their hearing aid functionality with this new release at the end of 2024 for hearing aid mode, they've been doing amplification for hearing loss for several years now using transparency mode. And you know what? If Apple was crushing it on the hearing aid side of things, the entire hearing aid industry would be out of business already. Unfortunately, they're just not that impressive. Not to mention, the Apple AirPods Pro 2 do not fit everybody's ears, and the battery life is really short. You only get around 5 to 6 hours per charge, and most hearing aid users wear their hearing aids for up to 13 hours a day. A lot of people also notice that you're wearing AirPods in your ears, and they find it quite rude that you don't remove your earbuds when you're talking to them, even though you're using them as hearing aids. Now, if Apple didn't get all this hype and media attention around the AirPods Pro 2 hearing aid feature being the greatest thing since sliced bread, I probably would not have put them on this year's list of worst hearing aids in 2025. But since they are clearly overhyped as hearing aids, I needed to put them on this list to bring all the Apple fans out there back down to reality. Okay guys, I hope you're enjoying this video. If you are, make sure that you hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on, go ahead and do that as well. It is greatly appreciated. And while you're at it, let me know down in the comment section if you disagree with any of my picks for the worst hearing aids of 2025, and let me know which ones do you actually think are worse. Alright, the fourth hearing aid to make this year's list of worst hearing aids you can get in 2025 has to be any hearing aid from MD Hearing Aid. I'm telling you, not even NFL Hall of Famer and MD Hearing Aid spokesperson Joe Namath can give these hearing aids enough credibility to keep them off of this year's list. Not only are they probably the cheapest hearing aids to make this list, but they're probably some of the worst sounding hearing aids I've ever listened to. According to HearAdvisor.com that reviews hearing aid performance, the hearing aids from MD Hearing Aid are all towards the bottom of the list when it comes to performance. Several of their models even got a score of 0 out of 5 for performance and background noise, which is not shocking if you've ever actually worn these hearing aids yourself. If you look at the real ear measurement programming graph for their Volt hearing aid, it basically does not match any of the prescriptive targets for soft, medium, or loud speaking voices. Honestly, every single time someone tells me that they've purchased an MD hearing aid, I just wait for them to start laughing because clearly they're playing a joke on me. Because surely nobody's purchasing an MD hearing aid because of their amazing performance. Okay, those hearing aids are so bad, I just really want to stop talking about them right now. So let's get on to the 5th hearing aid to make this year's list of worst hearing aids you can get in 2025. And this hearing aid is the Hear.com Horizon hearing aid. Coming in near the bottom of the list in Consumer Reports ranking with companies like Amazon, Hear USA, and Eargo is enough for me to add them to my list of worst hearing aids. This is another classic case of going online to buy a pair of hearing aids and have them fit by a hearing instrument specialist or an audiologist who probably would not have recommended those hearing aids for you in the first place. The worst part is that these hearing aids can cost you upwards of $7,000 for a pair. And don't be fooled by their payment plans that cost only $199 per month. By the time you're done paying them off, these hearing aids in 3 years would have cost you over $7,000 for hearing aids that are not that good and that are not fit and programmed properly. Oftentimes, the clinics that do the fittings of these Horizon hearing aids only get paid a small fitting fee, so you end up not getting a really high quality of care. Meaning that if the Horizon hearing aids were actually good hearing aids for you, you probably wouldn't get as much benefit from them because they would not be fit and programmed appropriately. When it comes right down to it, the Hear.com Horizon hearing aids may be the worst hearing aids on this list if it wasn't for the 6th hearing aid to make this year's list of worst hearing aids in 2025, which is Nano hearing aids. Despite Nano being under new ownership and new leadership, they still have a pretty sketchy background when it comes to direct-to-consumer hearing aid sales. In January of 2023, the Vermont Attorney General's office filed a lawsuit against Nano hearing aids for misleading consumers about the effectiveness and quality of its products. Included in this lawsuit, an investigation by the Vermont Attorney General revealed numerous alleged unfair business practices, including misrepresenting the character of their hearing products, implying that professional audiologists review each consumer's hearing test results, directing sales staff to persuade dissatisfied consumers into keeping their devices past the point of when returns are possible under Nano's 45-day money-back guarantee, claiming products are designed in the United States when they are designed in China, and implying its products are approved by the FDA when they are not. In June of 2023, the ABC 15 news team in Arizona investigated Nano's return policies after 2 individuals contacted the news team to help them get refunds that were initially denied from Nano. And this isn't the first time that an investigative news team had to help with a Nano refund. The same thing happened to a Kansas City man. But don't worry, the legal issues do not stop there, because the last time that I made a video about Nano hearing aids, they actually sent me a cease and desist letter, even though I was only covering this information about the Vermont Attorney General lawsuit. Honestly, I really don't like even talking about Nano anymore because I know that every time that I do, people actually watch my videos and then go purchase Nano hearing aids, just like some of you are probably going to do after this video. Now, I'm sure that since they have new leadership and now that we have the FDA over-the-counter hearing aid guidelines, it is much less likely that they're just going to indiscriminately rip off consumers. However, in my opinion, their devices are still some of the worst performing devices that are out there. I regularly get people who come into my clinic with their $300 to $700 Nano hearing aids, and every single one of them hates them. I'm just surprised that none of these individuals just gave up on hearing treatment completely given the horrible experience they had with these hearing aids. Honestly, this isn't really even a knock on just Nano. It's pretty much a knock on all of these direct-to-consumer online hearing aid companies that are out there right now. At the end of the day, if you choose to go and get Nano hearing aids or any other hearing aids online, just remember that I told you, buyer beware. And there you go. Those are the worst hearing aids that you can get in 2025. Now remember, just because I think a hearing aid is not very good does not mean that that hearing aid wouldn't be good for you. Heck, you may even believe that one of the hearing aids that I talked about in this particular video is the greatest hearing aid on the planet, and that's totally okay. I just know that there are substantially better hearing aids out there, especially if those hearing aids are fit and programmed by a hearing care professional who follows comprehensive audiologic best practices, just like my providers in the Hearing Up network. And if you're actually looking for a better pair of hearing aids, but you're worried that you're not going to be able to afford them, keep in mind that a lot of local hearing aid clinics have affordable hearing aid options, and they'll actually fit and program those hearing aids properly to your hearing loss prescription so you can hear your absolute best in 2025.